Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about people pleasing, why it's so bad for you, and what you can do to avoid it using 5 simple steps. It's actually funny because we teach our kids to say no thank you when they don't want something or simply because they don't like something. My toddler at 2 is a pro at saying no. He literally runs around the house saying no, 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 all day long. However, as we grow up, we learn to please. We learn to please our parents, our teachers, our friends, our spouses, our bosses, our kids, and we become people pleasers. We lose the ability to stand our ground and to set boundaries because we're afraid of what people will think of us. We're afraid that we will offend people, that they won't like us, and we're afraid to hurt other people's feelings. Well, what about our own feelings? What about our own goals and aspirations? Well, they fall by the wayside as we get into this deep habit of pleasing others, often at the expense of taking precious time away from ourselves, draining our energy, and leaving us with an empty cup. How many times have you felt overwhelmed or overbooked? Like you had to squeeze something in that you really didn't want to do and you didn't have time for. That is why it is so important to stop people pleasing. Sharon Martin, a psychotherapist, explains that people-pleasing, also known as sociotrophy, is actually a natural tendency and it comes more from a need to belong. Sharon explains that our need to belong actually predates us. It was probably written into our DNA millions of years ago when people formed groups to pool resources and to share work in order to survive. Not being accepted into these groups meant starvation by death or being preyed upon by wild animals. However, Gavin Sharp, another psychotherapist, explains that when those innate biological and physiological forces drive us to habitually please others, we leave ourselves behind. It can lead to stress, anger, frustration, depression, lack of confidence, and difficulties with relationships. People-pleasing is something that I've often struggled with myself, which is why it's a topic that's so important to me. I have to be mindful so I don't fall back into the same habits, and I have to make a conscious decision to do things differently. I'm going to share with you the 5 steps that I follow, which have helped me tremendously. I hope you find these helpful. They have helped me stay on track so I don't fall back into the pattern of people pleasing. Step number 1, learn to say no just like you did when you were a kid. So when I first graduated from college, I became a software engineer, a job which I hated. However, that was short-lived as I quickly learned how to talk to people, to build connections, and to sell. That is how I got into sales. Now, once I got into sales, one of the first things I learned is that you're going to say no to many more opportunities than you're going to say yes to. That was an important lesson for me to learn because I realized that not every opportunity is worth my time. If it will not give me a good ROI, return on investment, then it's honestly not worth my time and I need to focus on the things that are. Now you have to apply the same principle to life. You have to start saying no to things that will not give you a good return on investment, but will have you engaging in small talk with people for hours, which will take time away from things and people that are important to you, like your family. It'll just drain your energy and leave you feeling exhausted. There's a famous quote by Paul Coelho, which I really like. It says, when you're saying yes to others, make sure you're not saying no to yourself. Now, if you're not ready to say no outright, you can start slow by delaying your response or asking for additional time. Once you do start saying no though, and you start practicing it, you will see how liberating it feels. Also, when you say no, make sure you say it with conviction. Saying maybe or I don't know or I'm not sure just leaves things hanging. Instead, cut yourself loose by saying no effectively but polite. The amazing thing is you will realize that people who truly care about you and love you will not mind. What really helps me with prioritizing is having a vision board. So I know what my goals are, what the milestones are that I'm working toward, and I can picture what my end result is going to look like. I have a vision board that I like to use. Comment below and let me know if you'd like me to share my vision board with you. Edward Locke and Gary Latham are leaders and pioneers in goal-setting theory. So their research has shown us that working toward a specific goal is a major source of motivation, which in turn improves performance. You need to set SMART goals, goals which are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive so you can hold yourself accountable. If something or someone is not aligned with your goals, then guess what? It's not a priority. You can then easily see what types of people you want to be around. People who will motivate you, who will drive you forward and help you accomplish your goals, and events and things that you want to do. Again, events and things that align with your specific goal. All right, so step number 3 is to speak up. There's absolutely nothing wrong with voicing your opinion and going after what you want. It doesn't mean that you're being demanded. It simply means that you have your own priorities, your own goals, and you're not afraid to go after what you want in life. There's a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. It encourages people to acknowledge and voice their own needs instead of always taking care of other people's needs and hoping that this service will be returned, which it seldom is. And instead, you just end up selling yourself short. If you read this book, I would love to hear from you. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about it. Research has indicated that overly agreeable individuals might actually be at a disadvantage in the workplace when it comes to negotiating and advocating for their own needs and interests. On the other hand, when you speak up, it actually makes people respect you more when they can see that you have an opinion and you're not afraid to voice it. Similarly, in friendships as well as in relationships, you should always speak up because silence almost always means compliance. Also, it's going to make your relationships that much stronger because you're not always going to be sacrificing your own needs, wants, and desires in order to please somebody else. Don't worry about what others will think of you. If you want to succeed in life, you're going to have to learn to speak up and stand up for what you want. Now, I'm going to ask you, if you've enjoyed this video so far and you found it helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. As a new content creator, it really helps me out, and I would love for each and every single one of you to be a part of my community. Step number 4 is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There is something that almost all people pleasers, including myself, suffer from. It's called guilt. As a mom, I cannot tell you how many times I felt guilty simply because I left my kids with a babysitter, or I went to work, or I went on a lunch date with a friend, or a dinner date with my husband, or I stepped into the shower, or I went for a walk. Feeling guilty is natural, and I need to learn to sit with the guilt knowing that my kids are in good hands. They will be okay. It's more important for me to take time out for myself so I can be a better mom, a better spouse, a better friend, a better worker, and a better person. Learn to sit with guilt, sit with discomfort, and know that it will pass. Don't be too hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself and show yourself compassion. Research has shown that treating yourself like you would a friend with compassion can actually help improve well-being because it will make you feel cared for, connected, and emotionally calm. And finally, step number 5 is accepting the truth. Everyone is not going to love you, and that's perfectly okay. Some people are simply not worth your time. They're not helping you get to your goals and are actually holding you back. It's best to let these people go and stop making them a priority in your life. If someone just likes you when you're doing something for them or whenever it's convenient for them, you don't want those people in your inner circle anyway. Over the years, I've learned that it's better to have a few close friends who inspire you, uplift you, and motivate you, rather than having a ton of friends who don't even prioritize you. These are the same people who will ghost you in a second the minute that they realize that you're no longer useful to them. Why would you want to waste your time and energy on these people anyway? Let them go. Take power back into your hands by realizing the negative impact that certain people are having on your life, and instead start building deeper connections with people who do prioritize you, who do care for you, and who do love you. So instead of going to a huge party with 100 people engaging in small talk, which is just going to leave you exhausted, choose to go on a 1-hour lunch date with a close friend. It will take less of your time, help you build a stronger connection, and you will come away feeling energized and empowered. Shifting out of an innate people-pleasing pattern is not easy, especially when it's become a part of who you are. It takes a lot of practice, and it takes reminding yourself daily so you can break old habits. And as you learn to finally stop being a people-pleaser, keep reminding yourself to have patience, to be kind to yourself, and know that it's okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them, and as long as you're willing to do better next time. So guys, let's stop people-pleasing and let's start crushing it. Leave me a comment below and let me know if you are a people pleaser or you've ever been a people pleaser. What finally helped you break the habit? Love and peace until next time.